Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Legendary Series brought to you by ESL. It's time for our match 2 of the day. We have, I believe, 6 lined up for you today.
6 is the correct number.
That's right, good. I'm really glad I was guessing correctly. So we're just getting started, and we're going to have our second winners semifinals here for you guys today. Who's going to be?
It's Shoop versus
Weifu.
Yep. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty good matchup. Weifu is a Taiwanese player, so we've had a lot of international players come into this event. It is you have to have an America's count to compete in that open qualifier, but we've seen people from all over the place, compete, and it's really exciting to see these guys come out and play. And a lot of the times, international players, especially if they spend most of their time on different servers outside of North America, come in with some pretty creative decks.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see if the Asian meta can once again have a really strong impact on how this series ends up panning out. We had a quick glance at the versus screen, but we're just trying to get that tied up real quick.
Yeah.
What do you think we'll be seeing from any of these guys based off of your intuition?
Well, it seems like Warlock is still a very popular choice. And you were talking about this a little bit earlier, just the fact that you don't know if it's going to be Handlock or Zoo. And in this format, when you only face a deck once, it's hard to be able to react to it, and it's hard to mulligan effectively against a deck which you're not sure if it's going to be the more aggressive style or Handlock, which there's two completely different styles. And you can see the deck list on your screen there, and both players taking Warlock, both players taking Hunter, but we do see a Paladin there, Frodan.
Yeah, you know, Paladin is one of those classes I think it's great since GVG came out. And I'm surprised no one else is really playing it other than Shoop2 in these top 4. We'll have an opportunity to see a lot more of the variety of deck lists tomorrow. And I am surprised to see Hunter and Warlock. Or sorry, I'm not surprised to see Hunter and Warlock. Those are still great classes for ladder at the moment. Priest is also very flexible based off a lot of the cards they've gotten. Priest, Warlock, Hunter seems to be a go-to 3 lineup class. You can also replace Priest with Warrior, and it feels very much the same.
I think Priest has gotten a lot stronger, especially with cards like Shrinkmeister and Vol'jin. It allows for some pretty crazy things that you can do. Like it's sort of a liability to play like a Sledge Belcher anywhere after like turn 8 or 9 if you know your opponent still has Shrinkmeisters, because with Shrinkmeister and Cabal Shadow Priest you can steal a whole Sledge Belcher, not just the slime, the whole thing, Frodan.
Yeah,
the entire Sledge Belcher.
It's pretty cool. You're going to have to wait to turn 8 to do that, and we're going to have to wait to game number 2 for that to happen. We have ourselves our first match coming up here between Weifu and Shoop2. And keep in mind, Shoop2 is currently on the American time zones. Weifu is going to be fighting over in Asia, and that's hard to do because what time is it over there? It's like, what, 2 a.m.?
It's pretty late, and these series can get kind of long. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these Asian players play fast decks just so they can get over with their series quicker.
They're not playing the fastest Warlock deck, that's for sure. We have Handlock for Weifu coming out with Paladin, which looks to be of the control orient because, I mean, you have Zombie Chow and you have Sludge Belcher. Those are anti-aggro cards. I think Shoop was anticipating his opponent playing very fast decks.
This is a throwback to the infancy of competitive Hearthstone. We used to see a lot of Handlock versus Control Paladin back in the day.
And yeah, Paladin always had the slight edge. Because you have the full board clear no matter how many Giants they play. No matter how many Infernals they summon with Jiraxes. You always have the ability to wipe it with equality. And not to mention, you can line up silences for the Drakes, other Peacekeeper on the Giants. And now I feel like if Paladin plays Harrison Jones, I actually don't think Handlock can reliably win without Paladin drawing very poorly.
It's tough. I think Recombobulator, which we do see in the opening hand for Weifu, is a great card against Paladin because it can reactivate those Giants that get deactivated by Aldra Peacekeepers.
That's a good point.
Or Humilities. So it's a pretty interesting card. You have the silences as well to be able to do that, though it's kind of sometimes it's kind of rough to have to use like one of your Ironbeak Owls on a Giant to reactivate in that situation, but really like Recombobulator as a card in Handlock.
Wow, this is really interesting. That Shoop was also getting hero power. He says, I want to leverage as much of my hero power as possible as damage. Shielded Bot only adds 1 more point, and I'm also going to be playing this matchup pretty slow. So yeah, it's not a rush. Not to mention, if he gets his opponent really down low in health, and then he just kills off the zombie chow while playing the Molten Giant. He just heals back up. So
Yeah.
there's no point in rushing at the moment. Also, coin Drake, very appropriate. A lot of times players highly recommend against coining out the Drake if you already have a turn 4 play, but it makes sense considering that there's another Twilight Drake.
It can be a little bit awkward if you like have a Mountain Giant in your hand and then you coin out a Drake because it ruins your Mountain Giant timing by a turn. So I like Handlock and Paladin sometimes because a lot of times in the late game it comes down to like a game of chicken. Like how much can the Warlock extend and how long can the Paladin hold on to the removal?
Right, because Paladin can't burst usually.
Oh, no.
It's usually based off of a weapon.
Yeah.
With a Consecration. It's like, oh cool, that was 6 damage. All right.
7 damage with Lightbringer.
Yeah, or like
Whoa.
a little bit more if you have like a token out. So
I don't know, man. Dark Bombs. Those things add some bursts. We actually haven't seen any of those today. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do. We didn't get through the whole hand of Handlock, the whole deck of the last Handlock that we saw, which I believe was Grun Waves. Maybe. But
this was a very interesting attack sequence. Can you help me out here, TJ? Like he attacked 2 of his tokens into the Drake, and then played a shield bot. The shield bot I thought was going to come down and hero power.
I really don't know.
Well, I mean, he couldn't attack with one of the tokens, but he held off. So I think he's like playing around the possibility of Hellfire. So he's cashing in.
Yeah.
And then not missing out on that damage.
Yeah.
But still, it's a very interesting approach, right? Because he's like, well, I guess. Because wouldn't he want to like Hellfire first before the Drake? I'm not sure. I guess.
Yeah, but I guess the tokens don't really provide much because they just sort of get caught in the fray sometimes. So putting on the damage earlier is pretty good, I guess. I mean, even if he had used Hellfire, he wouldn't have been able to clear the Drake even with the mini bot on the board. So, but
well, I guess it's just supposedly playing around that AOE.
Yep. Getting some value out of those little guys, those poor little guys, poor little dudes. They're so valiant.
They knew what they were doing when they were signing up for the army, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sludge Belcher seems to be the logical progression of this turn. The alternative is also to tap and play Earthen Ring Farseer after you heal up a Drake.
Yep.
But if you play the Sludge Belcher... Oh, actually, I wasn't considering recombobulating. Unless that was a misclick. Okay, that was a misclick.
I was like, what is he going to recombobulate?
Well, the
Twilight Drakes with extra health, they're like...
Summon a Yeti! It's
one of
like,
the best.
Oh.
Or what happens if you try to recombobulate a 4/4 Twilight Drake and it just turns into a 4/1 Twilight Drake? The dream.
Yeah, actually that happened on a tournament I was casting yesterday. It was like, basically his Twilight Drake got silenced, but he couldn't kill it.
Yeah.
And he recombobulated it and recombobulated it into another 4/1 Twilight Drake.
That's funny.
That's great. It was so troll. Yeah, I like it. Just in case, it comes to the turns where he's playing equality and he just like destroys it.
Yep. Well, this is a very classical sort of control paladin deck. It's the Antique Healbot is a great card in control matchups now, because it's one of the biggest. I think it's tied with the biggest heal in the game, aside from Tree of Life, if I'm correct.
Right. The only one is what?
Lay on Hands is also.
Lay on Hands is 8. Healing Touch is 8.
Yeah.
Well, at least in terms of one card.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also puts a body on the board, so it's sort of great for that situation in the late game where you might be one turn away from dying, like in other control matchups, or playing around burst.
A card that people underrated or undervalued.
Oh yeah. We're seeing it show up a lot now that people are starting to flesh out these GVG decks.
Playing Cairn here over Sylvanas has its pros and cons, but I think he just wants something super sticky and be able to combat the board. I think he feels like it's too early for Sylvanas because it's easy for his opponent to silence it and then Mortal Coil and he loses a bunch of board presence.
I can recombobulate the Cairn. It's a very ineffective silence, I guess.
You can't recombobulate enemy minions?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought we were on his hand.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like, whoa, he's just like Tink Master all over again.
No, for some reason I thought that was the Paladin's hand.
Right.
No, wait. Oh, yeah. I'm lost, Frodan. I'm lost in the forest of Grunwald.
There's no turning back from that one.
Yeah.
You're not getting out for a while.
I forgot to prove to you that my middle school's mascot was actually the Green Wave. We'll get to that.
Still isn't.
Oh.
Well, the silence would have been useful a lot earlier. These Twilight Drakes already have collected value. It's almost to the point where you might want to save the silence for like your opponent's Sylvanas. It's like, well, these Drakes already have done a lot.
Yeah, this proves how lost I was. I was like, oh, you can finally silence the Cairn. Oh god, I'm back.
Well, I mean, I guess you could. If you want to be mocked by the internet for the rest of your life.
Well, now he's in a little bit of a rough spot. No Ironbeak Owls in his hand, so...
Yeah, it's not really that bad, though. I don't think you're really that upset giving any of these minions away.
That's true. It's better to get it out of the way now, instead of having to deal with it later on when you have giants on the board.
I mean, let's see, can you even trade everything down and give him just a 1-2? So if you suicide the Sludge, kill off the Drake, yeah, actually, you can just give up your board, kill off Sylvanas and Cairn, and then just give him a 1-2. That's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I think I actually like that boy. So you just trade down and you're fine. He has to move a little bit quick though, because the timers of like Sludge Belcher animations and stuff can take a while. Oh, okay, never mind. He's just gonna push then, and like force Sylvanas to attack into him. I always feel very uncomfortable leaving Sylvanas up to your opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is a little bit rough, and he can trade this in and maybe even steal something a little bit bigger than he was anticipating. So I'll have to see how he plays around this.
Well, now Consecration just wrecks
Oh,
so hard.
Oh man, here we go.
That's an interesting thought, though. Like, how do you use this True Silver Champion?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think he should... I don't know. Maybe he should have silenced the... Then he wouldn't be able to use the True Silver Champion. So either way, you're clearing off the Drake. This way, you keep your Sylvanas healthier, and you still have a weapon instead of the 4-3 on the board. So.
Well, Sylvanas is effectively a board clear, but look, now you have to spend an entire removal on her, versus, like, you could have... I guess you bait out the Consecration, but you could have... There's a lot more potential for this Siphon Soul. It could have been going on Tyrion, or if your opponent runs a Bolvar, which I know people are laughing at. But if you have no more silence, no more removal, and you just Bolvar at 27, it's like, how are you actually supposed to answer that?
I love Bolvar, actually. I've lost to Bolvar so many times on ladder because of the fact that, like, oh, everybody said Bolvar's a terrible card. He'll never play Bolvar. And then I use, like, Silence on Tyrion and Silence something random.
It's not like you misplayed either.
Yeah.
You're not expecting it.
Not expecting it at all. And then it was like he kept it in his opening hand.
Right.
So it's huge. Every turn he hovers over the Recombobulator.
Well, you just want to think about it. What can you get
for
off
2
this
mana?
Position? Well, it's not it's the 4-mana creature.
Oh yeah.
Like Defender of Argus is worth 4. So it might turn into a Yeti or like something equivalent to that, like in terms of the stats, maybe a Dark Iron Dwarf.
Or even a Piloted Shredder, and then you can get even something else out of it. The endless loop of creatures creating other creatures.
Wow, this Sylvanas value is out of control.
That's really interesting to me to see that. And he can't really play another minion. So he's basically just throwing his Loatheb out there to die.
So, well, gosh, you really want to like keep Sylvanas alive if possible?
Just throw the Tyrion down.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, or you can just Aldor Peacekeeper and throw in the Sylvanas.
Yeah, that was the play I was looking at more, but that doesn't feel very good either.
He's already used 1 Mortal Coil, so a lot of handlocks have only been running 1 Mortal Coil.
This would have been a perfect lay on hands turn if the Loatheb didn't come down.
Yeah. 13 mana lay on hands. A little bit tough to use. A little bit tough.
If you don't play Tyrion, your turn is very weak. You play Healbot, which is like, I don't know if that's what you need at the moment. This is not a very easy turn at all. I do think you Peacekeeper though.
Yeah.
I guess you do Healbot. I guess the alternative is also just the hero power. Then you float 4 mana. Ah. That floating that much mana is just so painful because look at what you could have invested in otherwise.
Yeah, especially against Handlock where you know that he's just going to play big threats every turn. But this Sylvanas has gone a long way.
Yeah.
He's gotten a lot of value out of this Sylvanas.
BGH Shadow Flame into Bolvar value? Because then you can't play around Bolvar. There's a dream alive somewhere, TJ. And it involves Bolvar for a dragon.
Oh, man.
Fantasizing about the lion roar one day.
Oh, the opening for that card is incredible.
Look at how much value that Sylvanas got.
Yeah.
Sure, she didn't steal any creatures, but
She went through a BGH, Shadow Flame, a
Yep.
Lotheb, Twilight Drake,
yep, Sludge Belcher.
Sledge Belcher.
Perfect turn for Lay on Hands again.
She had a good life. Oh, the piloted Sky Golem.
Yeah.
And Sneasel Shredder. Wow.
I was expecting the Sneasel Shredder because the Paladin's slow enough to play
Yep.
it.
Mhm.
The Pilot Sky Golem makes sense, granted the type of deck it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to play a bunch of sticky, strong minions. I'm just going to play this as slow as possible.
Yep.
I'm going to grind you out of the game. Pilot Sky Golem is effectively like Cairn number 2.
Yeah. All those cards are really strong, and especially in tandem with one another. Because you can, if you're just playing a couple, then, I mean, you can remove them or use your silences on those. But if you're
Right.
playing like all of them, eventually you're going to run out of ways to be able to deal with both
Yeah,
the
exactly.
card and the effect that's going to spawn, the card or whatever that's going to spawn out of it. So, really tough to deal with. Especially Sneasel Shredder, because sometimes you can get some pretty crazy things coming from that thing. One of my favorite cards from an entertainment standpoint. It can't be used in many decks, but in the decks that it can be used, it's pretty crazy.
Feeling a ton on only the Ancient Watcher. Oh, alright.
Why is that? Black Knight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would not want to get Black Knight. I mean, this Giant is going to do the same effect whether it's taunted or not taunted.
Yeah.
In fact, because of it, equality actually does become a lot stronger now. Versus equality before, you could argue it's like, yeah, it's hard because you have to go through the Ancient Watcher first.
Yeah.
So now, equality, and I feel like you can play Tyrion now. Like, I think, or actually you can play Sneasel Shredder too.
Yeah, I would probably throw down the Sneeds
Which
here.
has bigger impact, do you think, in this matchup? Tyrion because of the weapon?
I think Tyrion, because it gives you more win conditions than you would normally have. But at the same time, Sneeds can do the same thing.
Right, what if that just becomes Ragnaros?
Or King Crush.
Which is like the same,
Same
thing,
thing.
right?
It's like, oh,
Alright,
it's a worse
I'm
Ragnaros.
okay with Sneeds coming out here. I guess I'm always a big fan. Oh, well, I guess he wants to get mileage out of his hero power.
Okay. He does have a Quartermaster in his hand, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it makes sense. Like you said, Quartermaster, you build up the 1/1s. I was expecting one of these big 8 drops, though.
You can bait out some removal with this one, though. You can bait out like a Silence or some type of big removal with the Paladin Sky Golem.
Well, you can tempt them, but every player worth their weight in gold to go into Paladin knows that they have to keep a silence for Tyrion. It's
Yeah.
out of the question. This silence in Siphon Soul is dedicated solely to Mr. Fordring. With love.
Yeah. What if you just stop playing Tyrion in Paladin, and you just play a bunch of other legendaries into place? Everybody's going to save the owl for the inevitable Tyrion, and then they'll never use their owl. It's the hard counter to Ironbeak Owls.
Right, but what are you playing instead of Tyrion? Bolvar? Because then they're just going to eventually use it on Bolvar.
No.
You just play no.
Mechgineer Thermoplug. The
Leper
leper
gnome?
gnome value.
It just becomes the beast after you silence it.
Is there a deck that card could be used in? Mechgineer Thermoplug?
If so, I don't want to play it, nor do I want to play against it. I think it's solely a fun card.
Yeah, it's one of those flare cards.
Alright, well, Molten Giants will come out here. He's very, on equality, so I don't... I still think it'd be okay to play, like, one Giant,
I would play one.
but there's nothing wrong with playing two.
Yeah.
There really isn't.
Yeah, this is that game of chicken, though. It looks like who's going to go first? Who's going to flood the board before the other guy removes? And oh, there's the little exorcist that you were talking about earlier.
Well, here's the problem now. He has no way to benefit off of this equality.
Yeah, no consecrate.
Yep, and it's, like, too slow to play his bigger creatures.
Do you think
He might die next turn. That's what he's worried about. We know that he's safe at least by
Yeah.
off the hands, but he might feel like obligated to play this antique heal bot and then Like the little exorcist and then arm and then like hero power.
That seems like a really awkward turn.
It does. If he feels like he has to be defensive.
Yeah.
Or maybe you use equality. No, you can't use equality preemptively, right? If you equality and you play minions.
Yeah.
That's just too optimistic.
Yeah. And then the recombobulator value comes in full force.
Oh, you're right.
You lose the taunt, but don't think you really care at that point.
And of course, if you play like a really big creature threat like Tyrion, you can just get Siphon Souled and push for damage.
Yep.
Oh, I don't like doing this, but I think I definitely feel this obligation on his behalf. Like, okay, this is like the best option at my disposal, but it's always like, rah. He's not doing that, but that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
Good thing he
thinking.
didn't use equality because he could have silenced it too.
And I always go back to those player profiles. They send us a little bit of information about themselves every time they play. Shoop is a competitive chess player. A lot of the skills
cool.
from chess, the critical thinking translates over to card games. So
for sure. This is a really big draw, by the way. Having an owl is really nice to get past Tyrion again.
Yeah.
I think you can Shadow Flame this board and push.
Yeah.
I would be okay just dropping more power on the board, but I think you can just save the recombobulator.
Yeah.
Just like push. How is this? Any merit whatsoever to silencing one of your bolts? Well, that doesn't really matter. You have taunted bolts.
For what? For
Stupid
black?
suggestion. Yeah, I was like, what if you silence it so that way he can't get
You save the one that you like better.
Yeah, because even if he plays Tyrion, it takes his entire turn.
Yeah.
And then you just Siphon Soul. So.
Ooh, Jiraxis. It's a good thing to have. Good thing to have right now.
Ooh, well, that's going to do it, I think. There's no way for him to escape this, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of disappointing because he didn't even get a chance to use any of his big legendaries. He played very conservatively.
Yeah.
Used the piloted Sky Golem in a place where he could have used something else. I mean, it still would have gotten removed, but
He played it like Arena, essentially.
Yeah.
That was his biggest drawback here. A lot of like hero power mileage trying to utilize the 1/1s.
yeah.
Imagine this had such a big opportunity to maybe make a big swing of things.
Yeah.
If it was any big legendary that could fight against these giants.
Yep.
If it was Ragnaros, if it was even something silly like Lore Walker Cho.
Yeah.
Because then he'd get Shadow Flame in his hand, right? And then he'd like use Shadow Flame with something silly. I don't know. Like he would have a better chance to fight, but instead it's been stranded into the hand.
Yeah.
Well done, and that's going to do it for game number 1. Weifu takes it, sending it to game number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, it didn't really seem like Shoop ever got going there.
Yeah, he was always on the back foot.
His hand was clogged with a lot of those late game creatures, and Weifu could do. I want to call him Waifu, but I don't know if he'd appreciate that.
No, I mean I don't know if you'd appreciate that either. Like really, I don't know if he's marriage material.
I don't know. We'll have to see. If he wins this series, I might consider it. But I don't like watching the Paladins struggle like that. Do you think he was running Muster for Battle with that Dex? With the Quartermaster?
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it because Muster for Battle. I mean, he has already a lot of anti-aggro measures like Zombie Chow.
Yeah.
And
but he was running the
I
Quartermaster.
don't know. Yeah, Quartermaster. Actually, if you have Quartermaster, then you are running Muster for Battle. It'd be really silly not to because the value and the combination of plays is too strong. We'll revisit that when the time comes. In the meantime, Priest versus Hunter is coming up, and that's a matchup that should favor the Priest.
Yep. Especially now, I think that Priest. It was a pretty strong matchup for Hunter before, but Priest has gotten more tools, where Hunter really hasn't gotten much extra. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. We haven't seen too many changes to decks. Seeing some Paladins today, seeing minor changes to tried and true decks, but not too much GVG flavor added to a lot of these.
Not yet at the moment, at least. A few of the pilots came out for the Paladin, and then Handlock, of course, we saw the Antique Healbot, and the Recombobulator. So we have some mixture of cards, but for now, it's what works the best. You take what you know and try to apply the new cards into it and see if it improves, and it does. Speaking of new cards and plugging and playing, we have the Clockwork Gnome. Shoop really wants to pick up that Undertaker. Now, we do have a few important cards, though. The Alchemist Soul Priest can be so deadly. I like keeping Silence in the hand, too, and the off chance you pick up a Pyromancer,
Yep.
you have some really good opportunities to go for sweet plays.
Yeah, the Pyromancer Silence is such a great game swinger against Zoo and against Hunter. And especially with like Power Word Shield, you Pyromancer, Power Word Shield, Silence, and it's almost always a full clear versus Hunter in that situation, but
Wow, the hand improved dramatically.
yeah, that's a pretty decent start for him. There's some Clockwork Gnomes coming out.
Reaver.
Whoa! That's a cool card.
That card has won and lost me so many games.
I remember, I think in one of your first
I guess
arenas, you
that-
drafted Fell Reaver.
Yeah, I think that means that card's balanced. I'm not sure. But either way, oh, Shadow or Death. Either way, it's so like scary because you think in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I really hope, because they're on coins, like I really hope they don't like make me discard like everything that I ever would like in this deck. But the problem is, if they don't have a way to deal with Fell Reaver, you actually just win the game.
Yep. But Fell Reaver seems just really weird to me because it's like in the same sort of spot as like Mountain Giants in Handlock. And a lot of classes will have ways to deal with the Mountain Giant, either when it comes out or soon after it comes out.
Oof. Wrecked. This is bad. Like, you just play the Pyromancer, Silence, and then Power Word Shield.
Yep. This is the exact combo that we were talking about earlier on. If
he picks up Circle of Healing, does he use it?
Of course you do.
Okay.
Get some value out of that Northshire Cleric.
So, I think the play here from Weifu is pretty clear. The Pyromancer, you mean you want to silence the Mad Scientist?
Yeah.
I guess you're not happy that you can't use it against the, well, I guess that you don't have to, I suppose. Oh, okay, he wants to do it like this. He's keeping Power Word Shield. Interesting.
Yeah, well, this way he keeps his Northshire Cleric alive.
Yeah,
in a situation where he otherwise would have had to kill one off.
No, he would have done the same thing, too. Just Silence and then Power Word Shield.
He used the coin.
Like, he wouldn't have to use the coin if he just used Silence, but like Power Word Shield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, he values the Power Word Shield.
Okay. I see.
That's what surprised me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the coin is very flexible here. Oh.
Oh, well, that's convenient. Sort of.
That's a pretty good draw.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now you can Circle of Healing. Kill off the Undertaker.
Oh, you can heal first.
Heal first, kill off the Undertaker. I mean, there's a lot of options at your disposal here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's actually going to save the Circle of Healing. Yeah, he is. Saving both?
I mean, you have Alchemist Soul Priest in hand.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I'm not usually too conservative with my Circle of Healings when I play against Hunter.
Hard though.
Yeah,
he's already drawn so many.
He's got a lot of things that he needs to be able to close out this game. He's got a couple of awkward cards, like having Mind Control in your hand early on against the Hunter is pretty dead.
It's fine for those turn 10 Fell Reavers though.
I don't know if you would want to Mind Control that.
Never say never.
I'll be in a situation one day where I have to Mind Control the Fell Reaver and it'll completely lose me the game.
Yeah, and you'll remember me.
And I'll say, Frodan, I'm coming for you.
Oh, please don't. Well, here we go with the Slight Belcher. I think that's his best way of defending, and then I guess you just start pressuring.
Yeah.
The Pyromancer just existing, even though I think you're afraid of Unleash the Hounds in the back of your mind, the Pyromancer existing is such a big threat to the Hunter.
Yeah. Because basically any of those small creatures that he plays, especially if the Pyromancer is behind a taunt, are just at risk of getting obliterated from just spells alone. Supportive spells alone.
Yeah, definitely. And from here, Shoop has to find a way to navigate this, especially since he's got weak cards. So if his opponent has Shadow or Death, it's going to be a lot of AoE. There has to be a way for a very easy full board clear, right? Based off the way these cards are working out.
You can Oh, man.
Okay, so if you Power Word Shield,
Yeah.
you can't just, I guess you heal first. You heal your Pyromancer, and then you Shadow Word Death, and then from there, you Circle of Healing, and then Power Word Shield. And you kill off the hyenas.
Wow. Okay. There you go. I was trying to think of some crazy things that you could do with Vol'jin, but...
Vol'jin is great for the Fel Reaver.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, you just wreck whatever big target. Like, Vol'jin is like such good single target removal.
Not that you'd save Vol'jin specifically for Fel Reaver, but...
This is really good sequencing. Weifu realizing that this Northshire Cleric will be killed off in the collateral.
He
but
needs
he
to
doesn't
hurry
need
up,
more
though.
cards. He'll be fine.
Rope's coming.
Shadow Word Death, and then Circle of Healing, Power Word Shield. And he doesn't need more cards. Actually, the beauty of this is that he did need to kill off the... he doesn't have the Circle of Healing. I'm stupid. He would have healed up Lotheb. So the beauty of this is that he actually didn't need to draw more cards, otherwise he would have overdrawn.
Yeah.
Very good navigation from Weifu.
Also, the animation would have taken quite a long time from the card draw, so he wouldn't have had time. It's a double-edged sword right there.
Well played. He's at 9 cards too, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so...
Perfect.
Shoop is in big trouble, and it's not as simple as, well, let me drop the Fel Reaver, because my opponent has 9 cards in hand. Most likely he has an answer to it. Okay, well, he does have an answer to it. I guess this trap does complicate things, though, because you're not sure if it's...
Yeah.
If it's something that can easily, like if it's the freezing trap and it stalls your Pyromancer being able to trade in. Otherwise, if you knew the trap, you just play Vol'jin and trade in.
Yeah. Do you think he wants to test for the trap before he does anything? That seems a little bit weird. But then if you do that, then it completely ruins your play. But what else would he do? Okay, so if he thinks that it's freezing trap, what's his line of play here?
If he thinks it's freezing trap, he still has to swap health. He has to play 2 spells, but everything costs too much. He can't Shadow Word Pain something, right?
No.
No. You know what? What if Vol'jin reveals 2 freezing traps in the burn? How crazy would that be? Alright, well those cards are very meh.
Well, he can, yeah, I don't know.
I think he has to risk it. I think he definitely has to risk it here.
He does.
I think you just attack.
Oh, he's going to try and burn more cards?
I mean, you can put him at 1. I mean, Shadow Word Pain, I don't think it works the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, wouldn't it proc after the...
Yeah, I think Weifu is like... He tried thinking too creatively. And like, now this is like... Okay, if he didn't have Freezing Trap before, he definitely has it now. And this gave Shoop an opportunity to climb back into this game.
I think Weifu is hiding.
Yeah, I think... No, I mean, he's face palming.
Yeah.
And like, reevaluating his life decisions.
Well, you can kind of get...
like, oh god.
You can kind of get caught in that trap as a priest, where you're feeling a little bit overconfident because of a crazy cool Pyromancer play that you made the turn before. And you're like, oh, I'm going to make another crazy one right now. And then you realize after, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, that was...
Maybe I messed up a little bit.
He tried a little bit too hard. He wanted it too badly. Well, the good news is you can just shoot it down now.
Yeah.
Heal yourself, use Akanai, and shoot it down. It's fine. No one saw that. No one even saw it.
Except for us. Oh, he's just burning through cards. I guess
we're trying to mill his opponent.
I mean, this is a possibility.
7?
7. Wow.
So if he plays Akanai, he just shoots it with the hero power and he doesn't attack, right? He just stalls. Because actually you burn both bows, so he can't even benefit off the traps getting charged. Because the thing is, if you attack now, then you do more damage to yourself.
Yeah. I agree. Holding, better choice here.
Yikes, that's not good. Mad Scientist also stinks. You need this Akanai to not kill herself. Okay, so... This is still a little bit awkward, but I think it's fine. You utilize You want to steal that Leopard Gnome.
Yeah, to minimize as much damage as you
But
possibly
before
can.
you do that, you have to test for the trap, and
I like testing it with the Akanai here.
it returns back to your hand.
That way you can start healing up again. You can steal the Leopard Gnome to reduce more damage, clear the
Yeah.
board,
Well done.
and you can even heal up. Call it a day.
Well, not yet. He's still at pretty low health. He needs another beast though, like to get this kill command activation.
But even so, he wouldn't be
And
able to do it with 2 cards no matter what.
Right, but I still think there's another opportunity. If he just hero powers and then next turn he gets like a beast and double kill command. Because he's gonna be healing up to 13.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right though.
I just don't think there's a way he could do that much damage, especially over a couple turns, because he's going to heal over a
He's
couple
only
turns.
gonna need to do 12 damage because double kill command plus hero power is 12.
So the Sledge Belcher play would be basically investing in his future.
Well, this is fine too. All he has to do is heal himself at 13.
Yeah. And he's golden.
There needs to be Deathwing in this deck.
I've seen Deathwing played more times than
Oh,
in the past
wow.
week than I've seen ever.
Attacking the face is so aggressive. 2 cards remain in Shoop's deck.
There was some actually interesting cards that we saw burn. We saw Dark Iron Dwarf. Piloted Shredder, I think we saw.
Yeah.
Mechanical Yeti.
He needs to attack face here for... Oh, but this wasn't a beast. He needed specifically a beast and a kill command, so that way he can get the activation.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty unfortunate that this freezing trap was not be able to fished out by the mad scientist. And I don't think there's a way for Shoop to win this game anymore, because before he could rely on freezing trap to stall for a little bit of time, but there is existing damage from the hand.
Well, he also has to think about... You gotta pay attention to what cards you burn. And think about what 2 cards are left in your deck.
Well, yeah, I think he has another kill command.
Does he?
I think he does.
I think he burned both Animal Companions. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I just don't know what he's going to be able to do. That Holy Nova is pretty good as well.
Yeah, it's still a little bit short, right, in terms of damage.
Yeah. Oh, Thought Steal. He's going to see. Oh, he's going to see the last 2 cards.
of the deck.
But he's got 9 cards in his hand. I guess that would be.
Because what he does is he plays Sludge Belcher and heals.
Yeah.
So you Thought Steal just because you can. I don't mind Holy Nova and healing yourself, though.
Yeah. Put you a little bit out of that range.
Well played.
He knows that there's not much chance for him to come back
Right.
in. Those last 2 cards have to be absolutely perfect, and even then, I don't
You
think there would
should
be a way.
Thought Steal.
Most out of
Just to see.
Aw. I mean, we're gonna know too.
Ooh, the Glaive Zuka.
Yeah, I don't foresee a way for him to pull out of this one. It's pretty close, but Fel Reaver's 1 hit to the face didn't end up mattering.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for game 2, and Weifu jumps out to a 2-0 lead, meaning that the last match will go to a Hunter versus is it Handlock or is it Zoo?
We haven't seen it yet.
Either
so
way,
we don't know.
I'm feeling Weifu on this one.
Yeah. Weifu, he seems to have a better control over his decks here. I mean, Shoop, he goes with the risky play with the Fel Reaver, but it really came back to bite him. I think he actually discarded 18 cards, if I remember correctly. There was 6 cards. So
It's Priest. I never trust them.
yeah, so many low-cost spells, so many ways. Fel Reaver, that one time that'll win you the game, just sort of tied you over, and you just keep playing it and playing it again.
I mean,
I'm gonna
it's-
get that feeling back. It's like gambling.
it's got good win potential where it can blow out the opponent, and also has some pretty serious drawbacks. So that's why it's one of the cooler cards in the set for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hunter versus Warlock, you can see on your screen. So we'll have to see what variation this Warlock Sheep's actually bringing, and what he's going to be
I feel
bringing
like
in
it's
from
Handlock.
GVG.
I feel like it's Handlock.
Could be Demon Lock.
It could be Demon Lock. I haven't actually considered that possibility.
It's gotten quite a bit better, especially with cards like Mal'Ganis.
Yeah, I mean, not even really Mal'Ganis is like what makes it really good. I mean, it's obviously a great synergy.
Yeah.
But I look at like Mistress of Pain.
Yeah.
I look at Fell Death. Is that the name of the card? That gives like +5/+5.
Oh no, it's Demon Heart.
Oh, okay, Demon Heart. I look at like a lot of cards like that. It's like, well, it's actually really powerful. I look at Implosion.
Yeah,
That's really sick.
That's a great one.
You know, I'm looking at these cards that make high impact. It's not though. It's going to be Handlock. I mean, I feel like it makes sense too, given the fact that he's willing to bring Paladin. I think it also means that he's willing to bring Handlock.
Yep. All right. Well, this matchup has evolved a lot over the past couple months, and I think 2-3 months ago, people would have said that this matchup was nearly impossible for Handlock to overcome, but before
It's
GVG was
now
released,
favored.
before GVG was released, people were saying, "Oh, it's actually really even." A lot of pros were saying that it might be closer to 50-50 now. A good Handlock has a really good chance against Hunter, and now with GVG released, I think that Warlock's gotten a couple more tools to be able to deal with it, and I think that I think this is a really good chance for Handlock. Yeah, Antique Healbot, a great addition to a lot of these control decks, and sort of the bane of Hunters right now.
Really weak turn though from Hunter. Super weak. The fact that you might be wondering like why he doesn't play a trap. You need to be able to weave in hero powers because most likely you're playing a trap next turn.
Yeah.
So you hero power now, so that next turn you can hero power and then play a trap.
You don't want to float that 1 mana, especially as Hunter, and especially when a lot of these games against Handlock, when you're the Hunter player, come down to very, very small numbers. 1 or 2 health is usually what you're off on lead bill against these Handlock players.
So does he feel? I mean, he's on turn 4. His opponent's halfway dead. Does he feel like he needs to stop doing direct damage now? Because it's like, does he want to evoke the wrath of a Molten Giant?
So you're saying, should he just throw down the Knife Juggler and play a trap?
Yeah, something
Or-
along those lines.
Or, like, go Knife Juggler, Hero Power?
Or maybe even double trap.
Double trap, whoa. The
Okay, he's opting to go for as much damage as possible. It's fair enough.
Yep.
This has been a pretty slow start too for Weifu. Like he doesn't have the Ancient Watchers, and he's got this the heal for the next turn, which is okay.
Whoa, the infamous Stone Tusk Boar Houndmaster.
That used to be a pretty strong combination.
Yeah, Stone Tusk Boar also. I like the Stone Tusk Boar in the Hunter vs. Hunter mirror matchup because it just allows you to check into traps real easily.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Or
in this scenario, I think he's gonna have to sit on the sidelines. You could squeeze him in for an extra point, but I think freezing trap is much stronger here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And well, Tundra Rhino is okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow, he's really going.
Wow,
full
go
on.
ham.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Putting him
6
down.
health.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
now it's like a test to see if he has Molten Giants. Like he has it, he has it.
Well, Antique Healbot would put him at what, 14?
He's looking at 9 next turn after he kills this.
Wow. So a kill command would.
With the beast.
With the
he
beast.
did use his Stone Tusk Spore, which is something that also it's like in the back of your mind. I'm like, are you sure?
Are you sure you want to do that? Sure you want to play that Stone Tusk Boar? But he's really telegraphing his playstyle of going all in, and I mean when you're up 2-0 in a series,
You can take the risk.
you could take the risk.
Sure.
I think this is the right way to go about it if you're Weifu in this situation.
So many.
But this is a tough turn. You want an Antique Healbot, but at the same time, you're wondering, am I dead next turn if I do this? But what other play does he have?
The only other play he has is to Owl and Taunt.
That doesn't feel real good. But I guess he feels this is the best way that's going to keep him alive, and
He
I
needs
agree.
to draw a Molten Giant with this Antique Bot and like make a big powerful swing turn.
Yeah.
That's like his last chance.
Yep.
The reason why also Antique Bot feels a little useless is because he's presenting that damage anyways. Like, there's no actual way to leverage the health in the field following turns. It's literally just like a pass turn.
Yeah.
This is so close. He
Gonna
is
put
1
him at
damage off lethal.
1 health. Oh my goodness. So he needs big draw here. Molten Giant or bust. That's not a Molten Giant.
Okay, Antique Healbot stalls for a little bit longer. I mean, it's a pretty good sign that he used Unleash the Hounds here because he's all in, but there's still a possibility of Kill Command off the top.
Oh, Savannah High Main. He's still got some damage in his hand, though.
Does. Freezing Trap almost certainly to come out here. I think he's going to play the Mad Scientist and Hero Power. Every turn you need to be Hero Powering now, because it's very clear he doesn't have Molten Giant.
Yeah.
And you have a very small window of when you'd be able to kill him now.
And you need to keep threatening. Yeah, you need to keep threatening lethal every turn. Do Handlocks usually want 2 anti-heal bots, or they usually just throw 1 in there?
Two is very standard. The reason why is because a lot of times 1 might be used before Jiraxis, but you really want to have 1 post Jiraxis in most matchups too.
Yeah.
You're a lot of times you're cutting Farseers now.
Yeah.
Okay, Tundra Rhino, Hero Power.
And this is a great way to set up more opportunities for you to be able to push through next turn.
Yeah.
Especially with Savannah High Main.
Yeah, Mad Scientist is also a possibility.
Yep.
Too. It does make you more vulnerable to Shadow Flame, and you didn't get to Hero Power, but the payoff could be so big.
Oh, he draws a Mountain Giant. That's definitely not what he wanted to see.
One of the worst draws in his deck.
Yeah.
The only thing that might be worse right now is an unplayable card. So if he's running Trogzor,
yeah,
like that would have been just awful.
Yeah. You spend a lot of your cards early on against Hunter trying to remove or stay afloat, so
I'm actually surprised that he hasn't chosen the Hero Power, but I guess it doesn't matter if he draws Kill Command right here.
That's not it.
The Tundra Rhino, he was also hoping he'd be able to get a Savannah High Main charge.
Well,
he's a little optimistic though.
I mean, he's staying alive and he's getting closer to those Molten Giants. It could be big, but he's going.
Yeah, I guess, but until they're in your hand, they're not, and they're not in your deck until they're in the hand.
And he's used a lot of his Taunt Givers. He doesn't have a Taunt Giver in his hand as well. So even if you're able to play those Molten Giants, chances are.
Oh my God!
That is heartbreaking right now for Shoop.
Wow. Is that it? Okay, you Siphon Soul.
He can clear and keep both of his guys alive.
There's
or
a
not
trap
clear.
on the other end.
Oh, okay. It was a freezing trap?
Freezing trap. So like normally you'd like to bounce back the Argus and give us another target.
Yeah. So if he Siphon Souls, I think he's still 3, 4, 5. Still be one. He'd
Are
still
you
be one
Siphon
above.
Souling the target? Like the 1/1 or the 6/5? I mean, it sounds ridiculous to Siphon Soul the 1/1, but if you do, that's one less target he can use to push through.
Well, you're sort of just delaying the inevitable here. If you don't Siphon Soul the High Main, it's still going to be there.
Well, here's the thing: if you Siphon Soul his High Main, you remove 2 damage off the board. If you Siphon Soul the 1/1, you remove 1 damage off the board, and it's one less target for him to use other stuff. I mean, now he has 2 targets which he can split across, and Leok becomes like a legitimate threat.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point. Gives the Hunter sort of another way to close out. But I don't know if he felt comfortable leaving that Savannah High Main up for any longer. But this is, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
that is it. All right. Well, we had a long, brutal battle in the first matchup, but this one went a little bit quicker. But Weifu really coming out strong here, coming out of Taiwan, getting all the way through that open bracket. I think he was actually the player that, if I remember correctly, I looked at the brackets earlier, I think he might have taken out Teray to make it to the top 4.
Well done. He's going to move on to the semifinals of the winner's bracket.
Oh, yeah.
Not guaranteed anything yet. Still has to win 1 more. It's essentially double elimination groups where you just have to win 2 to advance. Doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a lot of fun in games that are coming up. In the meantime, that's going to wrap up our second series of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Newegg Esports. Go to esl.gg/Newegg Esports to find out more about Crucial and Western Digital products. We're going to take a few minutes to get set. I guess let's take a look at the bracket real quick, too, before we go on to break to show you guys how things have progressed so far. In our first match of the day, we did get to see Groonwave advance. And we finally be able to face off against Weifu. That's going to be happening in a little bit. But I also think we also have Shoop2 versus Frozen. They're not going to be gone just yet. We'll have an opportunity to see them later in the day.
Yeah, and of course the top 2 from today move on to the match day for the Legendary Series tomorrow. They get to fight off against the top 2 from last week, as well as 4 invited players. And we got a lot of great invites this week. So lots of
Yep.
great Hearthstone action still coming today.
Plenty more to come. Stay tuned, guys. The ESL Legendary Series will be back in just a sec.